Good morning, grade 6. How are you today? Today is your science class. We are going to discuss cycles of some elements in nature. The meaning of cycles is دورة, and it's something that goes on and repeats itself. Something that repeats itself. شيء بيعيد نفسه. Here we have different types of cycles. Cycles of elements mean the reuse of these elements in the ecosystem. The meaning of reuse إعادة استخدام. We reuse things, elements, عناصر in the ecosystem في النظام البيئي. إعادة استخدام العناصر الطبيعية في النظام البيئي. An example of elements cycles are oxygen carbon dioxide cycle. oxygen الأكسجين carbon dioxide ثاني أكسيد الكربون. هاي مثال على دورات في الطبيعة oxygen carbon dioxide cycle and nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle اللي هو nitrogen. This is a simple one. The oxygen and carbon dioxide cycle. Very simple, very easy. Plants give us oxygen. Animals breathe oxygen and give carbon dioxide. Animals and people, of course, and humans. Plants use it in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis synthesis اللي هو البناء الضوئي. So plants use carbon dioxide to make their food. We know that. And they give oxygen. Animals and humans, we breathe the oxygen and we give carbon dioxide back. So النباتات تنتج غذائها باستخدام ثاني أكسيد الكربون وتعطينا الأكسجين نتنفسه وثم نعطي النباتات ثاني أكسيد الكربون مرة أخرى. فهي دورة مستمرة. It's an ongoing cycle of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Oxygen and carbon dioxide. When the plants use the carbon dioxide, they give us oxygen. When we breathe the oxygen, we give the plants carbon dioxide. And it goes on and on and on. Next cycle اللي هي nitrogen in the atmosphere. Nitrogen forms protein. This is a summary, of course. النيتروجين يكون البروتينات. Protein help animals grow. Protein helps animals and humans, of course, grow. Where do we find nitrogen? Nitrogen is found in the air as a gas and in the soil. So we have two sources of nitrogen في الهواء in the air and in the soil في التربة. مصدرين للنيتروجين في الهواء وفي التربة. Bacteria turns nitrogen into soluble substances that plants can absorb from soil. تحول البكتيريا النيتروجين إلى مواد متحللة تقدر النباتات على امتصاصها من التربة. Animals and humans eat the plants and get nitrogen. الإنسان يأكل النباتات والحيوانات تأكل النباتات وتستخدم النيتروجين الموجود فيها لبناء البروتين. عندما تتحلل الحيوانات when the animals die and their bodies turn to nitrogen and carbon dioxide. لما تتحلل الحيوانات والإنسان الميت يتحول جسمه إلى عنصرين أو ينتج تحلل عنصرين النيتروجين وكربون دايوكسيد التي تستخدمه النباتات لصنع المزيد من النيتروجين والمزيد من وتساعد فيه الحيوانات على بناء البروتين وهكذا. هذه هي الدورة. It's an ongoing cycle. Now, another thing that we need to remember is food chains. Food chains. سلسلة الغذاء. Food chain contains a producer, منتج, which is a living thing that makes its own food, like plants. كائنات حية تنتج غذائها بنفسها مثل النباتات. And a primary consumer. Primary consumer. مستهلك أولي أو ابتدائي. Like animals that eat plants only. Okay, primary consumer. مستهلك بدائي أو مستهلك أولي. Number 3, a secondary consumer, مستهلك ثانوي, which is a living thing that eats other animals. So, it's a living thing that eats other animals اللي هو secondary consumer. So, a producer like plants, a living thing that makes its own food, a primary consumer like animals that eat plants, and a secondary consumer that's a living thing that eats other animals. Food webs identify the producer and the primary consumer and the secondary consumer. Okay, beans, grasshopper, and frog. This is the producer, of course. This is the primary consumer, and the frog is the secondary consumer because it eats the grasshopper and the grasshopper eats the beans. Food webs, web اللي هي الشبكة. They are food chains that are connected together. طبعا in the environment there is not only food chains, but we have also food webs. Chains connected together, they form a web. Take a look here. This is a food chain. Food chains, 3 food chains. Look at this, the apple, the deer, the lion, many food chains. And the food webs, it's connected together. It's connected with each other. Look at the food chains: corn, mouse, owl, carrot, rabbit, and fox and lion. Many food chains here. Look at this. It's a food web. Food chains that are connected together. And this is it. This is the end of Unit 1. Read it, understand it. If you have any question, you can always ask me. Goodbye.